Some secrets do not stay buried. Some wrongs do not go unpunished. And some people who are hurt so deeply, so completely, so unforgivably, refuse to disappear quietly even after death. This is the story of Shudder, a story about guilt, betrayal, and a ghost that had every right to haunt. Tun is a young photographer living in Bangkok, Thailand. He is talented, charming, and surrounded by a close group of friends. His girlfriend Jane is warm and devoted, deeply in love with him and completely trusting of everything he tells her. They seem like a perfect couple living a perfect life. They are not. One night after attending a friend's party, Tun and Jane are driving home together, happy, relaxed, completely at ease, when without any warning a young woman steps directly into the road in front of their car. Jane hits her at full speed before she has any chance to brake or swerve. The car spins and crashes into a roadside sign. Jane, shaking and terrified, can see the body lying on the road behind them. She tells Tun she is going to get out and check if the woman is alive. Tun stops her. He grabs her arm and tells her to drive away. Just drive. Now. Jane stares at him, then does exactly what he says. They leave the woman there alone on the dark road. Jane cannot sleep that night, or the next. The image of the woman lying on the road plays on repeat in her mind every time she closes her eyes. She tells Tun they should go to the police. They hit someone. They left someone on the road. They need to take responsibility. Tun tells her to forget it. Move on. But the world has other plans for Tun. He is a photographer, and almost immediately after the accident something begins appearing in his photographs. A strange white blur. A smear of light that appears in image after image regardless of what he is shooting. He checks his camera, his darkroom equipment. Everything is perfectly fine. The blur keeps appearing. Jane and Tun begin researching spirit photography, the phenomenon of ghosts or supernatural presences appearing in developed photographs. What they discover deeply unsettles them. The white blurs in Tun's photos are not random. They have shape. They have form. And the more photographs they examined, the more clearly a figure begins to emerge. IMDb. The figure in the photographs is a young woman. Dark hair, pale skin, always appearing in the same corner of the frame. Sometimes closer than before, sometimes looking directly at the camera. Looking directly at Tun, Jane begins to believe with complete certainty that the woman they left on the road that night is now following them through his photographs. Then Tun's friends start dying, one by one. The same group of men who attended that party the night of the accident begin taking their own lives in quick and terrible succession. No clear reasons, no warning signs that anyone noticed. Just a series of deaths that cluster together in a pattern too tight to be coincidence. Jane begins collecting Tun's photographs and examining them obsessively. In one image, she sees something that stops her completely. A series of photos showing a figure crawling toward the bookcase in Tun's apartment. She goes to the bookcase and moves it away from the wall. Behind it, hidden from sight, is a set of old photographic negatives. Jane develops the negatives. What she sees in those photographs destroys everything she thought she knew about the man she loved. The images show Tun's friends, the same men who have been dying one by one, assaulting a young woman. And Tun himself is not in the photographs because Tun is the one behind the camera taking them. The young woman in those photographs is Nader, a girl who once loved Tun completely and genuinely. A quiet, gentle person who trusted him with everything she had and was betrayed in the most monstrous way imaginable, not just by the men who hurt her, but by the man she loved who stood there and did nothing to stop it. But before all of this, before the confrontation and the confessions, Jane had already been searching for answers about the woman they hit on the road. She tracked down information about a young woman named Nader, and what she found led her to Nader's mother, a quiet, grieving woman living alone, and a story she was not prepared to hear. Nader's mother told Jane about her daughter. Nader was a deeply sensitive young woman who had loved a photographer named Tun completely. After something terrible happened to her, something the mother knew about in fragments and pieces, Nader's mental state deteriorated rapidly. She became withdrawn. She harmed herself, and eventually she could not continue. Nader had died before the night of the car accident. The woman Jane hit on the road, the woman they left lying there in the dark, was not a living person at all. It was Nader's spirit, already dead, already carrying her wounds, already beginning the haunting that would force everyone who destroyed her to face what they had done. Jane convinces Nader's mother to give her daughter a proper funeral, a ceremony with respect and dignity, believing that if Nader's spirit is properly laid to rest, the haunting will end and everyone still living can finally find peace. The funeral is held. It is quiet and sad and full of the specific grief of a mother burying her child. That night, Tun and Jane spend the night at a hotel near the funeral. But the haunting does not stop. Nader's ghost confronts Tun directly inside the hotel room, terrifying and relentless. In his panic trying to escape from her, he falls from a fire escape and is seriously injured. Nader is not finished. A funeral ceremony is not enough to satisfy what she is owed. Tun begins to feel a persistent physical heaviness, a weight on his body that he cannot explain medically. His neck and shoulders ache constantly, as if something heavy is sitting on him at all times. He loses weight. He cannot sleep. He cannot work. He cannot escape the feeling that something is permanently attached to him that was not there before. In a moment of breaking desperation, Tun screams at Nader to reveal herself. He demands she show herself. He throws his Polaroid camera across the room in rage and grief. The camera hits the floor and takes one final photograph by itself, facing back toward Tun as it lands. He picks it up slowly. He looks at what the camera captured, and what he sees destroys him completely. In the photograph, Nader's ghost is sitting directly on Tun's shoulders. She is not beside him. She is not behind him. She is on him. She has been on him this entire time, riding on his back, wrapped around his neck, the source of every physical ache and unexplained weight he has felt since the night she died. She never left him for a single moment. And then the final truth surfaces, the truth that makes everything else make terrible and complete sense. Nader did not simply appear in Tun's photographs after the car accident. Nader had been appearing in his photographs for much longer than that. She had been trying to reach him, trying to warn Jane, trying to expose what had been done to her, long before that night on the road. The ghostly sounds Jane had heard earlier in the story, the rattling doorknob, the piercing scream, were Nader reliving her trauma over and over in a cycle of haunted repetition. The doorknob was Nader trying to escape from the room where she was attacked, realizing the door had been locked from outside. The scream was the moment she cried out for Tun, and Tun did nothing. Every photograph Nader appeared in was taken with the same camera she had given Tun as a gift, out of love, before he betrayed her. The camera that was used to document her assault was a gift from the woman being assaulted. That detail, small and devastating, sits at the very center of everything this story is about. Tun is taken to a psychiatric facility. The weight on his body, the physical manifestation of Nader sitting on his shoulders, has broken something in his mind that cannot be repaired. He sits in the facility staring at nothing, speaking to no one. A man who spent years convincing himself that silence made him less guilty than the men who acted. The ghost on his shoulders disagrees. Jane is gone. She left the moment she saw those photographs. The life she built with Tun, the love she had for him, all of it collapsed the moment she understood who he truly was beneath the charm and the talent and the easy smile. Some things cannot be forgiven. Some truths cannot be unknown once you know them. Nader never wanted wealth. She never wanted revenge in any complicated form. She wanted one thing, for the truth to be seen. For what was done to her in that locked room to be witnessed by someone who would not look away the way Tun looked away. She found that witness in Jane, and Jane saw everything. The men who hurt Nader are all dead. The man who watched and photographed and said nothing is locked inside his own mind with her sitting on his shoulders for what may be the rest of his life. The camera that captured everything sits silent in an evidence box somewhere. And Nader, finally, has been seen. Some secrets do not stay buried. Some wrongs do not go unpunished. And some people who are destroyed by the people they trusted most find a way, even from the other side of everything, to make sure the world finally knows their name. Nader's name was Nader, and she made absolutely certain nobody who was responsible ever forgot it.